What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about UFC 308, and specifically we're going to be focusing on the main card, breaking down all the fights that took place, and towards the end of the video we're going to be discussing some possible future matchups going forward. Anyways, let's get right into the video. So starting off straight away, Sharabullet Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. Now, before I get into anything about the fight, I just want to congratulate Sharabullet, and that was a fantastic knockout. Double spinning back fist was absolutely crazy, and Petrosyan literally went flying when he got hit with that second spinning back fist. It was a great knockout and a great KO win, but we did see some holes get exposed in Sharabullet's game, and specifically his boxing. I thought it was a great game plan right away from Petrosyan to pressure Sharabullet early. You do not want to stand at range with him because the bullet will pick you apart, because you could argue he's one of the best kickers in the UFC, and definitely at a heavier weight class. I mean, the guy's got crazy kicks. You need to stay away from him or pressure him and be up in his face. We still haven't seen him tested against a guy who can really wrestle at all, and I think that is something we need to see in his next fight, which gets me into his call-out, Adesanya. It would be stylistically fun, but that's just never going to happen, is he's not going to fight Sharabullet. He's not even ranked. I think a good fight for the Bullet next would be somebody who's just inside the top 15, who fights a lot of up-and-coming guys and who's like the gatekeeper of the division. I think Jack Hermansson would be a great first test inside the rankings for the Bullet, if that's the direction that you want to go with, giving him a ranked guy. Because Jack Hermansson is a very well-rounded fighter. He doesn't do anything great or fantastic, but he's very good or very decent at just about everything when it comes to MMA. Next fight we had on the card was Dan Ige versus Lauren Murphy. It was a very close fight. Ige gets the first round, and 2 and 3 go to Murphy based off of damage, based off of activity, and the better fighter did win. I did see, some people saying Dan Ige deserved to win, but realistically, Murphy clearly won round 3, clearly won round 2, and the only reason that Ige won the first round is because of the knockdown. I do believe Ige did have a good start pressuring him, but once Murphy got comfortable in there and settled into the fight, we definitely saw him starting to pick apart Ige as the round went on, and then he proceeded to get dropped. So I was like, okay, give that round to Dan Ige. Started good, had the knockdown. I think that's fair. So 29-28, I definitely don't have any complaints about that. And it was a good fight. It was a close fight, like I said, but Murphy definitely showed to be the superior fighter in there. Okay, so moving on. This is where I start to get frustrated. So, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alexander Rakic. Some of the worst cornering advice I've ever heard from Team Rakic. Usually, if you're in a close fight, you want to tell your guy that you're down and you need to win these next couple rounds, because if you tell your guy that he's ahead, he's going to kind of coast. He's not really going to go and pressure and try to create damage. He's going to think he's up and he's comfortable. Now, the first round was competitive, and I do believe the judges did give it to Rakic, all of them, because the final decision was 29-28. But the second 2 rounds, round 2, and definitely round 3, were clearly Magomed Ankalaev, and I thought Rakic would have a lot more to offer on the feet, and Rakic, his chin was getting touched a lot by Ankalaev in the striking. That straight left was working for Magomed really well. And this fight between Ankalaev and Pereira has got to be the one that is made next. And that's an interesting one, because Ankalaev, he did look good on the feet. I do believe, obviously, Pereira is the sharper striker, but he's also got the takedown threat. But in this fight specifically, his striking was so good, he actually made Rakic shoot takedowns on him, which you do have to take that into account. He made Rakic turn into a wrestler. So that's what I have to say about that fight. So moving on to the co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Let me just say, Whittaker, still a great fighter, and I feel really bad for the guy. It just feels like whenever Whittaker's right there, right on the edge of getting a title shot, and he's in either that title elimination bout or like I said, just right on the cusp of a title shot, he loses. Whether, that's a win streak that he has, and then he loses to Dracus du Plessis, and then he starts to put a couple more wins together. Now he loses to Hamza, and it's really sucks for Whitaker. And I mean, I don't know how many times you're gonna have to rebuild yourself, and we'll see. But Whitaker, I don't see him getting a title shot now ever again in his career. Because he's lost to Izzy, who's up there. He's lost to Chimaev now, and now he's also lost to Dracus. But aside from that, Chimaev, this guy must just have insane grip strength, because they showed a picture of Whitaker's mouth after the tap out, because I was wondering at first, wow, that was a really quick tap out. He seemed to tap the second that Chimaev got the choke in, but Chimaev's grip strength is so strong. It looked like he dislocated his jaw, or I think he might have even caved Whitaker's teeth in, because he just wrapped that forearm around, and just that freaking squeeze that he put on his face. It was brutal, and it was gross. So I'll try to remember to put that on the screen for you guys. But yeah, Chimaev, he's going to be fighting for a belt next, and what a performance from Khamzat Chimaev. Okay, and now the main event. Topuria versus Holloway. And let me just say, guys, I share the feelings as most of you guys do. I was very pissed off, and I was sad. Partly because I was 0-3 on the last fights. I picked Rakic, I picked Whitaker, and I picked Holloway. And man, what a terrible way to end your card, especially with those predictions. But Ilya's a beast. What can I say? He's going to walk you down with a high guard. He has power and speed in both hands. He mixes it up so well. And one of the reasons I picked Max is because of how well he mixes it up and how good Max's jab is. But Ilya, he surprised me because his jab looked better than ever tonight. I mean, he wasn't jabbing, with Holloway, but he was able to jab his way in and get off his combinations, mixing up to the body, coming up and cracking Holloway in the head. And Ilya has an underrated chin. You could just see the difference when Max landed a clean shot right to Ilya. Ilya takes it, boom, fine, right back in there. Holloway gets hit by Topuria, and Holloway's like, whoa, wow. You can just see his eyes just light up because the level of power difference. And that gets to the point that I was about to make is Ilya's chin is underrated. He's going to move forward the whole time. Even if you land a clean one, land a good one, he's going to hit you back even harder. And his power is so scary that his low kicks have become a threat. You've seen now in the Volkanovski fight and in the Max Holloway fight that he's landed good low kicks on these guys because they're so scared and so cautious with Ilya's hands that they kind of forget that their leg is right there to be kicked. And Ilya has taken advantage of that now in both of these fights. So his power is setting up what was I saying? His power is setting up these low kicks that he's able to land. And now he's KO'd Volkanovski with a big right hook. He's KO'd Max with a big left hook. So the power, it's not just like one of these guys. Like, obviously, Alex Pereira, I'm going to use him as an example. He's got power in both hands, but his signature punch is his left hook. Whereas Topuria, you got to watch both hands, man, because you just do not want to exchange. He will hit you with 4 or 5 punches, and then boom, you're out cold. So going forward, and I want to touch on this before I end today's video, let's talk about some future matchups for the guys who have won. Sharabola, I already mentioned. I think Jack Hermanson would be an interesting fight, but if you're not looking to go in that direction, I think a good fight would be like a Roman Dolidze to maybe test Sharabola. It's wrestling. Roman's also a pretty powerful guy, too. I think that would also be another little fun scrap right there. Okay, so the next fight on the card, Lauren Murphy, got a win over Dan Ige. And for Murphy, so here's my ideal matchmaking for the featherweight division. I think Lauren Murphy should fight the loser of Mozart Evelev and Aljamain Sterling, because I believe the winner of that fight will either be looking for a title shot or maybe like a Volk fight. So The loser of that fight, I think, would be great for Lauren Murphy because it'd still be a jump up in competition, but it wouldn't be, like a title elimination bout or anything because he's still got more work to do before he gets a shot like that. Magomed Ankalaev, and he is the next fight set in stone. It's got to be Alex Pereira. And that's the fight to make. And that's the fight that's going to test Alex Pereira the most. If Alex Pereira can beat Magomed Ankalaev, I think you have to say Alex is a top 10 fighter of all time. I think this is a real legacy fight for Pereira because Ankalaev is the best fighter outside the champion. We can say that confidently right now. Rakic was piecing up Yuri until he was finished, and Ankalaev on the feet clearly outstruck Rakic. And he's a great striker, great wrestler, great well-rounded fighter. That's the fight to make. Pereira, Ankalaev. Khamzat Chimaev. Well, he's going to be fighting for the title next. That is obvious. Now, I think DDP is a really interesting fight because DDP is so freaking strong, and he's proven lately that he can go the distance and still hold up well. After, rounds 3, 4, and 5, he'll still be there and he'll still be dangerous. And Khamzat, although he's, super strong, super dangerous early, we still have a lot of question marks about the cardio of Khamzat. And Dracus just seems to just find his way through people and get big wins. So that's a really interesting fight. But I think the bigger fight and the fight that UFC would prefer to make is the Sean Strickland fight. If Strickland wins the rematch against DDP, because they'll make that, and then Khamzat will fight the winner of that. But I know the UFC would love to sell Khamzat versus Strickland because think about how massive that fight would be. So, finally, Ilia Topuria. What is next? I would like to see Diego Lopez. He's a young, fresh guy, surging up the rankings, running through people, looks super dangerous with his hands. And I'll tell you what, the freaking boxing exchanges would be so damn fun. Although I definitely would favor Topuria to win that fight. Diego Lopez is dangerous, man. And I don't want to see a Volk rematch. That's just... for respecting legends so much, why are you throwing him into the freaking Lions den again, man? I think, like I said, matchmaking for the featherweight division, we have Evloev versus Sterling. This is a big fight because I think the winner should fight Volk, the loser should fight Lauren Murphy, and the next title shot should go to Diego Lopez. That's the way the matchmaking should go at 145 pounds, and if it doesn't, which... It's possible, I'm going to be mad. So that's my opinion. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video all the way through. This is actually, I think this is my longest video to date. So, thanks for sticking around, listening to me talk about UFC, and subscribe. It'll make me happy. We're trying to grow this YouTube channel, and I'm committed to it, man. I love the sport, and I figure talk to you guys about it. See what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your opinions, comments, matchmaking. Leave all that stuff in the comments below because I'd love to hear back from you guys, as well as if there's any criticism. So let me know if my takes suck. So anyways, thanks for watching and listening, and I will see you guys in the next one.